Alrighty, that's molestation with light. That's called crossing path. He's monitoring on his device. This is a stalker, and he's doing so while the government is stalking on Holt Boulevard as I walk toward Holt Boulevard. That's the entity that is stalking, flying right next to me, flying over me, stalking in planes with the people of the state, who then get aboard Omnitrans, who is gang stalking. That's bus 1265. That's arriving on time pursuant to gang stalking me. Not out of what is a commitment to engaging in a legitimate business, because they also fail to arrive on time in order to gang stalk me. They are under all circumstances crossing path with a state that maintains no terminals where any flights are flying, hovering over Holt and Euclid Avenue and veering across the city of Ontario like they are now. This is also not in conformity to hovering over the Stater Brothers parking lot like they are last night, as though they're taking off. Where on Holt Boulevard, they're doing so over where I'm walking and show you Safeco and the houses off of Bonita, where then they're stalking while I'm in the parking lot on the opposite side of Bonita, inside of the Ontario Village Shopping Center. That's the P.O.C. Omnitrans is being prosecuted for sharing in what is this ongoing psychological war, which is the impact on an American citizen in the aggregate where you are gang stalking. And also Omnitrans itself, which is a gang member, is engaging in psychological war while stalking on the roads and the highways with the population, while all the gang members operate the coaches, and all the gang members that are literally the coaches themselves, as they are used to create light activity, as they are stalking in your path, engaging in this very sick iteration of the P.O.C. psychological torture with regard to stalking with light. They're literally using the coaches to do that. These are businesses that are going to cease to exist, okay? And Omnitrans is engaging in that, the aerial surveillance and the surveillance on the highway right now. Now, the mental illness that you're aware of, what you're witnessing, you see the light on the signs, that's all impossible light activity. It's not the product of the traffic. These are demons. That's a demon, all right? That's on the side of the road with the light activity, okay? And that is apes fitness. I've already documented those apes. They are demons, not focused on working out. They're focused on me and my vagina. None of them. This is all demonic. And this is the failed, but nonetheless an act of war. And the federal government has a very clear, decisive response. All right, this is P.O.C. What the entity was doing last night, for example, stalking with light, aiming light like you are, and the Ontario police were going back and forth and back and forth. This is what the demons are doing on the roads and the highways right now. An iteration of stalking with light, and they are crossing path back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That's what that is. And that's what the mentally ill were doing in a helicopter last night for a prolonged period. Very much triggered, okay? And so are the people of the state. They're quiet, they're silent, they don't know you, and they're engaging in what is acts of war against you, which is also psychologically harmful. This is very much a threat to American citizens, and it will be met with what are the response by the federal government in order to protect American citizens who are subject to war by the domestic terrorists that are enemies, and the entity is doing so by company names, okay? So this is an actual war on domestic terrorism. This is P.O.C. It is currently 5:42 a.m. as I'm arriving at Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue. The entity is stalking by flying over, and a stalker is already in position. That stalker then aborts what is a means of ongoing stalking, which is Omnitrans. These are all businesses, all right? That's the pattern of conduct, P.O.C.